Subway employees have rated what was the grossest sub you've had to make. Took my sister to Subway when she visited the mainland. She lives in rural Tasmania and had not been to Subway before and was quite nervous. When she discovered you could just pick what you wanted, she just came alive, like she had been waiting her life for this opportunity. She ordered meatball with seafood, tuna plus and teriyaki chicken, with just capsicum and pickle. I was not fazed until she asked for tomato sauce. The lady was really cool about it. Thanks for being so cool about it, Subway lady. A guy in front of me in line ordered a tuna sandwich and then pulled out a Ziploc bag of grain sugar. He asked if he'd put the sugar on top of all the tuna before roasting the sandwich. They did it, but I can't imagine caramelized tuna would be my choice for food. We were across the road from a pub. A customer who'd been across the road all day came and ordered a meatball sub. He asked me to put every meat we had on it. Seafood, tuna, cold meats, the 4 different chickens we had at the time, everything. Was an absolute bitch to close and cost him something like $40 for one 6-inch sandwich. He sat down inside and ate it all. I worked there in college. One guy would come in and order 2 quadruple meat, quadruple cheese BLTs. That's 40 pieces of bacon per sandwich. He would house both of them sitting right there in the dining room, 80 pieces of bacon down one pea hole. Way back when we used to make cheesy bread by pulling out the middle and melting the cheese in its place. We don't do that anymore. Thank God. There was this person that wanted that. Then she asked for nothing else except oil. I mean, literally a shit ton of oil. There was a pool about 3 centimeters filling the excavation of bread. She gave a $10 tip, so that was kinda nice. But I'll never forget you, Oompa Loompa oily cheese bread lady. A guy came in with a Tupperware bowl of nat and asked us to put it on a chicken and bacon ranch melt. We're not allowed to do that, so we just made him the sandwich and he took it to his table. He came back a few minutes later and asked if we could eat his sandwich more. It was pretty clear that he'd added the nat himself and now wanted us to cook the damn stuff. He was polite, so my coworker obliged. Our place smelled like rotting rat anus for the rest of the day. I worked at Subway for a few months during my freshman year of college. The grossest thing I ever made wasn't a sub, but a salad I made for an older lady. She came in right before closing, and she asked for a salad with shredded lettuce, cut up ham, and mayonnaise. So much mayo. I squeezed a few lines on her salad and looked up at her to ask if that was too much, and she said, "Oh no baby, I'm going to need a lot more than that," and I ended up squeezing what seemed like almost half of the squeezed bottle on her salad. The top of the lettuce ham bowl she asked for was completely covered in mayo like a blanket of creamy snow. I swear the ratio of mayo to lettuce was like 3:1. She even got extra mayo in a little cup on the side just in case. It really stuck in my memory because I remember she got so much mayo we had to prep another bottle of it before we could close. It was a salad and the entire situation was gross. So this dude wearing tan and gold, rimless sunglasses walked in and kept his sunglasses on. He tells me he wants a chopped salad. I don't remember the meat or veggies he asked for, but I do remember the toppings. After reading my name tag, he asked for olive oil. As he peered at me over his glasses he said, "I like it really wet, Ludi and Luna," and licked his lips. I put in a whole bunch, but kept repeating how wet he liked it, asking for more oil. I put in at least half a bottle of oil. Then he goes on to say how he loves Parmesan cheese, like a lot of it. I shook in a bunch of cheese, but he still wasn't satisfied. I was pissed off and creeped out at this point, so I took the lid off the cheese and dumped the entire shaker full into the bowl. He was fudging thrilled. "Ludi and Luna, you're the best. You make the best salad. No one anywhere else gets it like you do. You're perfect." He came back several times, asking for me, and if I was there he refused to be served by anyone else. Eventually, my shift manager stood next to me while I made the salad, so the dude couldn't make weird ass comments. He stopped coming in after that. A drunk guy came in and asked for a 6-inch flatbread with just mayo, garlic mayo, and ketchup, and he wanted it toasted. I don't work at a Subway, but I'm a GM at a Firehouse Subs. I once had someone ask my cashier to steam his bread. She asked him 4 different times if he was sure he wanted his bread steamed and not toasted. It felt so wrong to make. The bread was moist and on the verge of soggy with the steamed meat and all the condiments. The guy said it was perfect and he loved it. I never want to make that sub again. I quit a few months ago, but I was covering a shift at a different store. Guy wanted a tuna sandwich. No big deal. Then he wanted me to put steak on it. Okay, weird. Then he was like, "What is that?" while pointing at the veggie patties. He asked for that on it too. A tuna, steak, veggie patty sandwich. I don't remember the veggies, but he did get some. He gave me a $5 tip and his number. I never called him. The other one that was just fudging weird to me was someone ordering a meatball sub and then getting, like, an entire bottle of sweet onion sauce on it. It was so much fudging sweet onion sauce. So much. A foot long with lots of marinara sauce and pickle juice. Not pickles, the juice from the bag that they came in from the supplier. Nasty. Late to the party, but I feel like everyone needs to hear about the cheese man. This trucker comes in once or twice a week and orders a tuna sub. Before you put the tuna on, he wants the bread coated on both sides with mayo. Next the tuna, then the Swiss cheese, double portion, then cover the tuna in ranch, then add 2 big handfuls of shredded cheese. Next more ranch, then 2 bigger handfuls of shredded cheese. More ranch, you ask? Yes, the answer is always yes. Next is onions and green peppers. Toast it now, while it weighs as much as a healthy newborn. More shredded cheese. Now 1 last quarter of a bottle of ranch. Please add a strip of light mayo before you wrap it. It was the nastiest, messiest pile of shit I have ever seen, and I used to live in a ghetto. Before getting fired, I would often have a customer that would order a foot-long honey wheat with nothing but onions, hot sauce, mayo and black olives. It smelled of feet and sickness when it was done being toasted. I made many a gross sub for late night drunks. One that stands out particularly is a foot-long seafood with an entire bottle of light mayo and 3 whole tomatoes double toasted. Former Subway employee, this elderly man named Larry would come in every other day and get a foot-long tuna. He would eat 1 half that day, the other half the next day. Tuna on wheat with nothing except handfuls of jalapenos. I mean 1 huge fistful on each half and then some. You could barely close a sandwich. I'm sure in his old age he had perhaps lost some sense of taste, but my god, I don't know how he even could taste the tuna. Not particularly gross, I suppose, but definitely stood out. I had a frequent flyer for about 6 months, literally only while she was pregnant, that would come in and get a tuna foot long on white with olives, bell peppers, and an offensive, downright impossible to close without overflow, amount of mayonnaise. She wanted this sandwich heated in the microwave. I've never been a sandwich artist, but when I was in high school a friend of mine was and told me a woman would come in every day, order the same sandwich with 1 single olive slice, but she didn't want to know where it was on the sandwich, so she would turn around when it was put on, so she could be surprised. Subway worker coming up 9 years, managing for 4 years. Had many odd combinations, but the top one is when a drunk came in and wanted everything on the sub, and I mean everything. I explained that if he had everything it would be very expensive and he insisted. So I opened up a foot long, heated all the meats and cheese, toasted and all the salads with majority of the sauces, salt and pepper. Being very large sandwich, we couldn't close the sub, so we had to open another foot long and put it on top. Took 2 sub wrap to wrap it up. Came to 70-ish, can't remember exactly, Aus dollars. Guy paid and off he went. My mom, rip, used to get a tuna salad sub with black olives and onions, with meatballs and extra marinara for one of her coworkers. She told her coworker one day that she couldn't get it anymore cause it made her car smell bad. After she passed, I ended up with her car. I swear sometimes on hot days, I can smell that nasty ass sandwich, lol. It's been 5 years now.